Hey guys, I want to. This is me, Jay, again, doing the second version of my Naya Rivera video. I thought the original Naya Rivera video was very rushed because I was about to eat dinner and I had my air conditioner on, and you really couldn't hear me. And a lot of the facts in the video were a little bit off because not that I didn't do my research on Naya, because like I said, I had her book, and I was a big fan of hers, but just because, well, I had to eat dinner. So anyway, here goes. Here's the second version of the video. Yeah, Naya Rivera's body was found today in Lake Piru in California. A couple of days ago, she and her son, her young son, 4 years old, Jody, I believe his name was were found. He was found, but she wasn't, and police were searching for days and days for her. And unfortunately, today, she was found. Um, Her body was found, and she has now passed away. Naya was most famous for her role in the TV show Glee, which lasted from 2009 to 2015 as Santana Lopez, aka Snicks, a lesbian teenager and cheerleader on the show. Um, I was a huge fan of this show. I came across this show in about 2011, 2012. Um, through Netflix, I heard about it, but I didn't really pay any attention. But then I started watching it, and I just fell in love with it. Um, a lot of people felt that the show was very overtly political, pushing, um, an LGBT agenda, whatever. To me, it was a show kind of like a modern version of Fame, showing kids in a performing arts setting, kids that were artistic, and it exposed me to a lot of show tune songs that I never really knew about. Yeah, I always loved the musical format and musical type songs, and this show had the perfect blend of pop music and show tune music. But Naya's character in particular was groundbreaking because it was the first time you ever saw a lesbian character on a lesbian character and a lesbian couple on TV. Of course, you had Ellen, who came out as a lesbian in 1997, but you really didn't have a lesbian couple because Ellen's character on Ellen's show didn't wasn't in a relationship. But here you had two teens that were in a relationship in Brittany and Santana. They started off as friends, and then the relationship progressed. And it was in this storyline that Naya gave her one of her best performances when she did the Taylor Swift, her rendition of the Taylor Swift song "Mine" when she was breaking up with Britney, because the storyline was that she was going to Kentucky to on a cheerleading scholarship, and she wanted Britney, her girlfriend, played by Heather Morris, to move on. And she she sits her down in the auditorium and she breaks up with her through this song. And to me, just like in a lot of other songs um, in Glee, to me, Naya's version was better than the version by Taylor Swift. Naya's version was excellent. Other songs that I feel like she did um, really well was the song Valerie, which she did twice. She did it once in season two when I believe they went to regionals. The group that was known as the New Directions, the McKinley School Glee Club on the show. And another when she did it in 2014 version. Again, her and Heather Morris. They were an amazing team. They were known by many fans as Britannia, and their characters, along with the characters of Darren Criss and Chris Colfer, helped many teens to not be ashamed of their sexuality and to come out as LGBT. Naya, I got Naya's book that she wrote um, called Sorry Not Sorry, where she talks about her role in Glee and also her other roles. She actually was a child star and she starred opposite Red Fox in his last role um, in a TV show opposite him and Della Reese called The Royal Family. It was the show that he passed away on. And she talks about being in the hospital when he passed away and how he would. We all know that Red Fox from his days in Sanford and Son would do this routine where he would grab his heart and he'd pretend like he was having a heart attack. And Naya talks about in the book how he did this on the show, and all the producers thought that it was just, his running gag, but he actually passed away. And the way that she described her relationship with him, very grandfatherly, granddaughterly type of relationship. In some ways, he was sort of like a mentor to her. Then she talks about Family Matters roles on The Fresh Prince, her prepubescent relationship that she had with Taj Moore, star of Smart Guy, and the brother to T and Tamara from Sister Sister. Funny thing is, she talks about how the relationship ended too, and how when the roles stopped coming in because she was no longer a child anymore. Um, uh, he basically said that he was only going to go out with girls in his own, tax bracket, so he dumps her. Kind of a messed up way to break off a relationship, but recently he gave a heartfelt letter to her, talking about how she was his first love. They went to the junior prom together, and how he never will forget her. She also goes into her feuds that she had on the show Glee with people, especially Leah Michelle. The backstage beef between her and Leah Michelle was was the stuff of legend. Glee fans, known as Gleeks, it was well known that her and Leah Michelle did not get along. And it's funny because at the time, like 2013, 2014, when she was coming out with these allegations, people defended Leah Michelle. People said, "Oh, she just making it up. She was just jealous that Leah Michelle." Because basically, Ryan Murphy and Brad Falchuk basically wrote the show for Leah Michelle. So Leah Michelle was basically designed to be the star. But with Naya was so good that she stole the show. you know, her arguments on the show that she would have with Chris Colfer, that she would have with that she would just be dissing people, and the names she would come up with other than Jane Lynch, she was the funniest part of the show. So, of course, professional jealousy developed between her and Leah Michelle, and at the time, nobody really believed her when she was saying that Leah Michelle was this royal bitch, basically behind the scenes. But a couple of weeks ago, we find out that Leah Michelle was indeed a bully to several other cast members, including Samantha Marie Ware, who she who basically said that Leah Michelle had told her that she would shit in her wig. I mean, but you know what I mean? Leah Michelle just a prima donna and everything, you know. So in the end, Naya was vindicated, and Naya was telling the truth that Leah Michelle was a prima donna and that she was a bully to cast members. And then when it came out, people started saying, yeah, Naya, what? People like Amber Riley or other people like Kevin McHale, who played the parts of Mercedes and Artie respectively, started to say, well, yeah, Naya was right. Leah Michelle is a bully. But that segues into what other thing I wanted to say was about what people are calling the Glee curse, the curse of Glee. Glee experienced several deaths, three deaths so far in the show's history. The most famous one, oldest one, is probably the death of Corey Monteith in 2013. This is again why I wanted to redo the video again, because I initially said it was 2014, but it was 2013. He died around the same time as James Gandolfini. But yeah, and also the death of Mark Salling. Mark Salling's death, and Mark Salling was actually a the ex boyfriend of Naya. It was Naya's ex, and she talked about how Naya, him and how him and her got together on the night that Obama was elected. That's when their relationship officially began in 2008, and how it ended. It's funny because life imitates art. Because on the show, when the show started, Santana was heterosexual or bisexual, but more identifying heterosexual, and she was going out with Puck. So she was going out with Mark Salling in real life, and going out with Puck on the show. So that now she's the third death. My question to you guys: do you think there really is a Glee curse? That Glee, the cast of Glee has been plagued with so many deaths and so many tragedies. We know that Mark Salling's death was a suicide. Corey Monteith's death was an overdose, and Naya's death is now a boating accident. But do you think that's true? One thing that really hits me is is the song that she sang to during the tribute episode to Corey Monteith, "If I Die Young" by the band Perry, and how real that song is now that she has died young. It's really emotional for me. I was a huge Naya Rivera fan, a huge Glee fan. She was in a well publicized relationship with rapper Big Sean, who she did a song called Sorry with, who he dumped her for Ariana Grande. And she was in a domestic dispute in 2017 with her current husband. But yeah, rest in peace to Naya Rivera. It's just a shame that her son has to now suffer without a mother. And it just goes to show you how short life is. Naya was 33 years old. Myself, I'm 35 years old. Very young age to go out on. And it's just sad, you know. She was a great actress. I think she had a tremendous musical career ahead of her. And won, you guys. Peace.